What would you do? In this hot sellers market, I am seeing a disturbing trend of sellers who are avoiding understanding the market, the condition of their home, and are not too interested in the selling process either, yet they are leaving a lot of money on the table because of this. Buyers are getting the upper hand with these sellers, even in this hot sellers market. Wait until you hear this story. Hi, I'm Francine Viola, Realtor in Olympia, Washington, and today I have an interesting story for you. Let me tell you what happened to this seller and you be the judge. Could this seller have had a different or a better outcome? My buyers and I toured a home, and when we walked into the front door, we saw all of these buckets on the floor catching the rainwater from an active roof leak. That's not a good sign. So I called the listing agent and I said, hey, what's up with the buckets? And she says, the seller will not replace the roof. He is selling the home as is. I go on to ask the listing agent about next steps. What happens when the appraiser calls out this repair because my clients are getting a loan? The agent says the buyer will need to pay for a new roof because the seller will not pay for it. My buyers and I looked at comparable sales and found a similar home that was updated and sold for $225,000 more than this one. My client said, Francine, we need to get this home. This is a steal. Even if we have to pay $20,000 or $30,000 for a new roof, this is still a good deal. I said, okay, let's pump the brakes here. Let's just see what a new roof would cost. I got permission from the seller to do a pre-inspection, and I had a roof contractor go out and take a look at this. The roofer said the roof is in good shape, and in fact, it probably has another 15 years of life left, and the leak is just in this one area. But he said the repair could be costly. It could be about $800. $800? My buyers were so happy they couldn't believe it, and they wanted me to write up the offer immediately. My clients offered $100,000 over the asking price. Guess what happened? The seller rejected their offer. Turns out the seller accepted a cash offer for the asking price. My question is, if that seller knew that the home didn't need a new roof and it wasn't going to cost $10,000 or $20,000 or even $30,000, but only $800, do you think that seller would have made a different decision? Would that seller have had a different outcome? I don't know. I don't know the seller's situation, but I do know that the seller had no idea the cost of that roof or the extent of the damage because the listing agent did advise their client to get an inspection. You may be asking, why didn't I provide that information to the seller? Contractually, I cannot share an inspection or a bid with the seller unless they give me explicit permission to do so. I asked, and the seller didn't want it. Here's my 2 cents on this. First, I think it's impossible to make good, sound decisions without the facts. I tell my clients, whether they are buyers or sellers, to get the facts and talk to the experts so that you can make the best decision for you. With this seller not having this knowledge about the cost of the repair, this seller was not confident they could accept an offer with financing and with an appraisal. Because my buyer did more research on the market and on the condition of the home, my buyer had the knowledge to submit a great offer. I think if this seller had paid $800 to repair the roof before listing it, that seller could have received more offers, higher offers, and not had to rely on a cash buyer. By the way, do you know how many cash transactions there were in Thurston County in the last 3 months? Was it 20%, 33%, or more than 40%? If you guessed any of these, you guessed wrong. In the last 3 months, only 11% of the transactions in Thurston County were cash buyers. So sellers, don't hold out for a cash buyer. For some sellers, getting a home inspection before they list may be a good idea. Then they will have a clear understanding of their home's condition, and yes, the seller will need to disclose the condition or repair issues, but there's nothing wrong with that. Having this information will help determine a listing price, cost of repairs if needed, and the seller will then have the facts to make good decisions as the transaction progresses. One last note on this. For sellers who are unable to make repairs and they are selling the home in as-is condition, I get it. Repairs are expensive, time-consuming, and it may not be an option for sellers for whatever reason. But try to get information to understand what is at stake. In this case, it cost $0 for me to get a roofer to look at the roof. Do your best you can and call me if I can help you sell your Olympia area home. I'll help you gather the facts so you can make the best decisions for you. In the meantime, you may want to check out this video I did about selling your home as is. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.